For the longest time, UV printing was just a thing for the pros. Expensive, complicated, and made for factories. But all that is about to change with the eufyMake E1, the world's first personal UV printer. Isn't that right, Pierre?
It's allowed me to add some texture and context into my work.
And so more. With innovative AI algorithms, you a new dimension to your creativity, turning 2D designs into 3D textures with ease, no experience. Where's the fun in painting just one kind of texture? Not to mention all the true-to-life colors to create with.
So you can use like acrylic, wood, stainless steel.
Joined by Ben and the eufyMake team to answer your questions and to talk more about what this incredible new machine can do and what this means for makers, hobbyists, and other people interested in getting started with arts, crafts, any tinkering. So we have kind of a smorgasbord of different things that we've been working on creating, and we kind of want to talk through what this process looks like, what some of these ideas are, and then talk to the chat as well and see what you guys think of this and some of the questions that you have. So overall, we'll just kind of give a quick rundown. If you didn't see the preamble, this is a UV printer 3D texture as well. And so what that means is that you can now take pretty much any surface, and you kind of have a variety of surfaces here, and then you can directly print onto those things. So we have a bunch of different kind of ideas here. So for example, we have like almost a canvas, like a cloth style. And again, you get beautiful full color prints on this. You can also print on, like for example, we just did a phone case here. You can make custom phone cases. And because you have, not only full CMYK, but you can do raised textured prints as well. So that being said, we have, I think, a couple more options as well inside the printer. Let's take a look. Oh, here, we actually just printed it out. And then we also have stickers that you can make. So we're in the process of making these, and you can again print directly onto the film. So you have DTF, direct to film. And then from there, you can take these and turn them into stickers. You can cut them out and make them in whatever shape you want. But yeah, some really exciting opportunities, really exciting things that we can do with this printer. And yeah, we want to kind of just go through and see what you guys have for questions in this realm. Anything, Chelsea, what do we have? What do the people want to know?
Right now, I think the people want to know, is the connection okay?
It's, that's a great question.
That's what's in the chat. So you know what? Let me go check on that, because I don't think we're going to get any questions. The connection isn't connecting.
Somebody needs to close the window, all the Wi-Fi.
All the Wi-Fi. I see someone said solar winds. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I think this is our kryptonite, the solar winds.
Yeah.
Let me go see what we can find. But Davis, how about you ramble about some of our lovely
absolutely.
here?
One of the things I'm most excited about one of the things I'm most excited about is I do a lot of like prop work. I build props for film and TV, and one of the biggest things that I find obnoxious and kind of like a part of the process that is least enjoyable is once you've 3D printed something or made, whatever it is that you're going to be using as your prop, you usually have to go through and sand everything down, put like a nice finish. And so what I want to try working on more of with these UV printers is now you can eliminate a lot of that work, and you can kind of print directly onto a surface and start using that instead of going through the whole sanding, priming, painting process. So for example, again, going back to this textured like canvas we have here, this is basically a single layer. And so you start to see like really high detail, but you start to fill in kind of those gaps. And so as you add more layers, looking to see kind of how far can you push that, and can you get a nice, clean, smooth surface, and eliminate a lot of the things, because I know probably a lot of people watching this have 3D printers at home and want to take those 3D prints and elevate them to a level that you wouldn't be able to get unless you went through all the sanding, detailing. Even like a Cricut, if you were to cut something out, you don't have that ability to get just like really high quality stuff. So that being said, we will do kind of some demos. Yeah.
Yes, we have some demos.
Yeah.
And the connection is back.
The connection's a little bit back. Yeah.
Okay.
Even better.
Now it's really my time to shine.
Yeah, what do the people want to know?
The right direction. Okay, the people want to know, first and foremost, question, what ideas, besides cups and glasses, can be used on the Rotary? It's a great question.
It's a great question. And yeah, then feel free to chime in as well.
I would imagine any kind of cylindrical item.
Yeah,
would work.
It can do anything with a straight cylinder. One of the really cool things about this rotary tool that is different from other rotary tools that I've seen in laser cutters and whatnot, and maybe we'll play with it in a little bit, is that it actually has a self-leveling mode.
Oh, yeah.
And so it moves, so it adjusts, but it also adjusts, And so if you do something that's not perfectly cylindrical, but is actually cone-shaped, it will be able to raise that cone until it looks perfectly flat, to up a lot more possibilities than some other rotary tools I've seen.
And one of the biggest things that this machine focuses on is ease of use. So if those of you who have maybe a laser cutter, a more of an industrial style laser cutter, a lot of that comes down to the end user to go through and set everything up to make sure that you have, everything level, everything just right, because that machine is not going to help you ensure that your product is aligned the way it needs to be. So what this does is it takes a lot of the guesswork out. We have overhead cameras, we have auto leveling rotary tools. So trying to make that as easy as possible and cut out a lot of that guesswork where the machine can jump in and help you get the highest quality prints with the lowest amount of effort. So That being said, and to answer one of your questions as well, I think something that would be interesting is thinking about even like larger jewelry. Like even if you have like a band, like it goes around your wrist.
Like a nice little bangle.
Yeah, exactly. Like a bangle, you could maybe print, something on there and see kind of what. Now, I'd have to see. We might have to ask the experts exactly the dimensions of what that rotary tool can accommodate. But that being said, yeah, there's always some other stuff that you can try. If it's circular, probably try printing on it.
You know what? Someone in the chat just said possibly a small vase.
A small vase, yes.
A small vase.
Did they spell it vase or vase? No.
It's spelled the way I said it.
The way yeah. Any other questions that we have?
We do have one. I think this might be a eufyMake chat team, but I will read it aloud.
Mm-hmm.
How long is the printer head expected to last? Do we have an FAQ on that?
No.
If we don't, it'll be.
I'll put it in the chat, but there is We'll pull up the exact stats and put it in the chat, but there is an life expectancy of the printer head, but there is also a protection you can get with your printer that will cover things like the print heads for a certain amount of years, and then other components. And so there's that kind of optional eufyMake care, similar to with a phone or a car, where you can get to make sure that the parts under warranty continue that kind of extended warranty. But we've had ours for about it's the oldest ones in existence have only been here for a few months in our use, but they've still been great. We've had no problems with the print heads. One of the amazing things about the print heads also on the eufyMakes is the self-cleaning, and that's really what changes this machine from the printer you might get on Temu to this. Besides the 3D, is just on the side here, there is a compartment that has a self-cleaning cartridge, and so every time it prints, it's going to wipe off those nozzles, and when it goes into deep storage, it actually fully purges the lines and replaces it with this cleaning fluid so that you don't get UV resin hardening in the lines. So anybody who's used traditional printing methods for UV printing knows what a hassle it is, and this machine really takes care of all of that hassle.
Yeah. Hopefully that answers your question.
Okay, and I have some more questions.
Yeah.
So I have a addendum to the first rotary question. So someone said, how about Christmas bulbs or ornaments? Now I'm going to say probably not, because that's more of a sphere, less of a cylinder. I don't think it'd be able to grab onto the bottom of a round thing.
However, I will say, and I'm spitballing here, but if you have a 3D printer, you could probably print some sort of,
like a chuck?
Yeah, like a chuck essentially that can go around those round edges on the end, and then set that in your rotary tool and then print it that way. So you have something that can give you, because you need an even surface to sit inside of that rotary tool, and so that would be an easy way to get the ends of a bulb object into there. We'll have to test that out. That might be something that would be interesting if we have more time to sit down and 3D print something like that.
Yes, and then a more technical question, I think. It says, can you mask out part of the print? So I'm assuming like, I don't want it to print here, but print everywhere else.
Yeah, and I would say like the phone case would be a good example. And feel free to chime in if I'm missing out. But like for example, where you have the here we can do down low, where you have the cutout for your phone and microphone, you can. I mean, again, like any printer or any paint-based thing, you can apply masking tape around that. It will print over it. And if you want a very specific, if you don't want to go through and take the time in your design file to do a certain shape, or if you already have like a stencil of some sort, that would be an easy way to lay that on top. It will print over it normally, and then you can just peel it off and lay out everything the way, instead of doing it by hand, like after you printed something out, you can literally do it in your machine and put your 3D printed piece in there, or whatever it is that you're using, laser cut, something like that. But yeah, other questions?
Yes. I'm not here for all the technical gobbledygook. That's why we have him. So I'm here to just answer questions like Vanna White. Okay. So one of the things is, can the stickers be put on cars, and how long do they last outside? Yes, you can put these stickers on your car. How long they last outside? Probably with their like UV vinyl type of material.
When you also have a gloss.
Gloss option as well for a little protective varnish. But I would say, Ben, do we have an ETA on how long stickers last? Outside?
Again, any of the questions about how long something's going to last, we have kind of that caveat that these printers are new.
Right.
So there's not been the opportunity for
yeah,
field
to
testing. We're doing that
testing.
field testing right now.
Got it.
There are dozens of makers on YouTube that you can watch their videos and see that Eufy gave us to, so that they can
True.
really put the printers to the test and torch test them. And so we've been doing some torture testing ourselves. And then Eufy is also going through right now laboratory testing. So they do things like putting them through kind of an accelerated experience of what it would be like to be outside. So they'll have more numbers of that kind of thing soon. But right now, I will say everything I've printed feels super durable. I have like a phone case that's been in my pocket. I have all these things that have been banged around on the wall. None of it has any denting or scratching. I haven't seen any UV damage on anything yet. And most stickers that you see are UV printed. So like UV printing technology has been out for a long time. Just not at this price and not in your house. And that's really what the Eufy E1's bringing. So, the standards that you see for these industrial printers so far have held up on everything I've printed at home.
Yeah. And perhaps, the tech side can chime in, but, these are also, as you would any painted object, you can go through and there are like additional enamel protective coatings that you can spray onto things. So if you are worried about certain things, you can get off the shelf at like a hardware store. If you were to paint anything else, you would want to put like a nice layer on top of it. This machine does have your gloss layer that it goes on top of. I can't speak to the exact chemical composition of that and how it reacts to other things, but based off of just general, tinkering and craft making, you can apply a coating over the top of things. But
Okay.
other questions?
Well, you know what? I think we're gonna segue from questions into a possible little demonstration because I think we need to finish off stickers. We need to go ahead and do the final step of the sticker making process, which is we took them out the printer, we did the thing, and now you can't really see it, it's a little off screen. It kind of looks like a little laminator. Move that, you move that.
Yeah.
Okay, you get that. We do this. Okay, teamwork makes the dream work.
Perfect.
We did it.
Beautiful. I'll load it up and ready to go.
Okay, so this is how it comes out the printer. I don't know if I have my Zoom on me today, but if not, please use your imagination. I gotta make sure Instagram can see. I always forget. I always go this way. Instagram is over here. Yeah. So once you've done that, they get all printed out, right? Beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous, gorgeous. And then you have to stick them in this little laminator thing, and it's going to, the way I'ma say it is probably not the way it is. But to me, it sounds like it's like extra curing it and getting rid of the extra stickiness and making it to an actual peel offable. Getting rid of the extra stickiness and making it to an actual peel offable sticker. It's gonna go in there and do some magic, and then it's gonna come out and be a sticker. So that's what we got.
Exactly. And essentially what we've done is we've printed it onto the sticky material. So you're directly printing onto the sticky material, and that means that once we put it through this machine, then that sticky material is on the actual print itself, and you can use it as a sticker. So for that, I'm going to turn to our resident expert here. Give us 1 second. Ooh. There we go.
And there we are.
And there, and there we have it. We'll let Ben sort that up. And do what we need. I'm on the wrong side of the
So with the laminator, like Chelsea and David said, we printed this onto this material. There's 2 different versions of this film that's being used. But with the version I have, I find it's easier to take it off of the backing plate. The backing plate kind of helps keep it straight and flat while you're handling it. And then our laminator is actually heating up right now. And so there is a plastic material in there.
It's like a big roll.
And it's just a big roll of this plastic material. And so right now it's sticky on the plastic, but the prints themselves feel like any other print. And so when we run it through the hot laminator, it's going to transfer the adhesive from this backing material onto the print itself. And it will also cover the print off the backing and stick it on things and line it up correctly. But while this is heating up, maybe you want to show some of the other prints we've done, maybe on the canvas.
Absolutely.
Do you have a favorite out of these?
You know what? I really enjoyed this little square rabbit with a drum.
Yeah.
I don't know who printed that.
You like it?
Oh, it's not
Yeah, that is really cool.
Like Bunnicula.
Yeah.
It's like
Have
a
you guys
punk
tried
rock
putting
band.
an entire shirt in there?
An entire
An
shirt?
entire shirt? You just wad it up and throw it
No,
in.
I'm
And it
not
comes out
trying an
done.
entire shirt. You know, maybe that could be a thing. You
Yeah.
know, some cute patches, maybe.
That'd be really cool.
Maybe I'll
Yeah,
show
patches.
for those rabbits, for those other ones, I can show everybody.
Oh, they're behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Getting some BTS action over here, and not the boy band.
So the cool thing is a lot of the prints there, some of them we made ourselves, and some of them are pulled directly from eufyMake. So I already have it open.
Oh, is that where the cool rabbit came from?
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Well, shout out to
the
whoever
rabbit
did it.
actually is one of Eufy's pre-made designs.
Yeah.
The great thing is, depending on your art and what you like to do, you can use your own pieces, or you can do any of these templates. So something I've done for one of those, the one that says, "I just hope that both teams have fun."
Oh,
This
this
guy right
one?
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for that one, I just took one of these templates, and then you can, let's take surfing. But you can actually put in one of the templates, and then you could change all the words, change the images, but it kind of gives you a starting off point. Or if you don't
like
wanna-
me, you're bad at Illustrator.
Yeah,
You're an engineer at heart, but not an illustrator. That's perfect.
exactly. So like now I could click in surfing and just write like,
That's perfect. That's sport
Yeah. Hang time. Absolutely.
yeah. So we can also do. So we have like all these different patches. I think I just hope both teams have fun was one of these patches originally.
Yeah.
There's also images and shapes. So if you don't know how to use Illustrator, there's really no problem because you could just pull in from here. There's also the text. So there's even templates for using text.
Yeah. And great too for, it's similar to printing. You don't necessarily need to know how to use CAD, use a 3D completely proficient in an Illustrator program in order to use this machine. There's templates that are out there. You can also import, you were saying, PNG, I don't have the full list off the top, SVG files, stuff like that. So, if there are existing assets that you've already purchased or want to use, they, will largely work with what we have.
Yeah, and so you can see there's PNG, JPEG, SVG, WebP,
Yeah.
Photoshop, Illustrator, and PDF. So that's a pretty comprehensive list. You can just see some of the things that we've pulled in the past.
YouTube went offline.
YouTube went offline.
Oh.
I'm watching it live right now.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, we're back.
And so if anybody is having internet connections, I think our internet connections are solved. So if there are lagging issues, please just confirm and check your internet connection. Yeah, we have all these different templates, and that's the rabbit is just one of the ones you can pull from. There's a whole thing called under elements called animals.
Yeah, there's some good ones in there.
And there's vaporwave and Y2K.
Yeah.
Lots of fun different elements.
There is 2 questions. Well, I'll interject. One is there a reprint project in the software as of yet? As of our last stream, there was not an option to reprint previous projects.
As far as I know, there is not a there's not a direct like I finished reprint like there is on the like even when I print with the doors open for bigger prints, I really don't have notice a smell. Maybe when I was doing the 9.5 hour print of the dragon behind you, but overall very little noticeable smell.
Yeah. And actually, this is a good example too, because you do have a maximum, for those that aren't aware, you do have a maximum height of 5 millimeters. So obviously it's kind of hard to see on camera, but this one is a full texture. Oh, you take it off. Ooh. Full texture, yeah, you can see we've got, there's, the height here, and each of the colors have slightly different heights, so you can get some really cool textured effects. There's also existing textures you can use in the software that let you apply an existing texture, like for example, leather, on top of your finished thing. So if you wanted this dragon to feel like dragon scales, you could do that and apply that to the top of it. But yeah, 5mm is the height that you can print on top of this. And I think we have our first sticker here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Nobody look too closely at my cutting here, even though they're lefty scissors. I think it's maybe it's me.
Ooh. Oh, okay.
There we go.
Oh, okay. All right. This is my first time getting to actually try to do one of these stickers. So if I so it's like sandwiched?
It's more like it operates more like a cricket.
Oh, okay. So I gotta peel off the back.
You
and
peel
then
off the back, and the front is there to help.
Got you. The front is a transfer paper. Got you.
Oh, and actually, we have one sticker on my iPad already, but if you want to add another one.
I was gonna stick it on this water bottle.
Oh, or stick it on the back of the water bottle.
Yeah, I was gonna stick it on the water bottle. And yes, I did see one of these questions in the chat. So no, we do not work for eufyMake. We are here over at social media. We are just helping them, get some demos out and get some word out and some buzz, which is why the eufyMake people are in the chats answering all those real technical questions that we cannot answer. We're just on here giving you guys some fun demos. Davis, I may have the nails are really attracting. If you could just peel off one of those for me, I can get the other.
We'll see if
the nails really weren't working.
Here we go. Yeah.
And if you happen to be in the Los Angeles area and you want to come try out the printer for yourself, you can come to Social Media Makerspace.
Yes,
We've had a couple people from the last live stream come and check it out. So if you want to come try printing yourself, see what it's like.
Yeah.
Come by.
The video doesn't know justice. Like, it really is one of the coolest things I've seen, being able to take these incredibly high quality images and directly put them on whatever project you're working on. It's one of the, seeing is believing. And again, we all come from slightly different backgrounds. So being able to take this technology and integrate it into the different projects we're working on, I think is going to be really interesting. And again, seeing what everybody else does with it. The fun part is the technology is really cool, but also the way people use it is what I'm most interested to see.
Davis, that was a great segue because we do all use this in really different ways.
Yeah.
I am going to use this for my miniatures. So this is a mini tabletop. And Ben is going to get ready to print my personal logo on this little mini tabletop. I have 3 tabletops so that when I do my little photos of my mini foods, branded. So that's the first thing I'm gonna do.
That'll be really cute.
I thought it too.
Gosh, I am so
Okay, is it?
I'm
Okay, it's
so
not just me.
close.
Okay. We were having some technical issues.
There you go.
Okay. Oh.
I recommend this is the way it works. Like, you don't have to cut that close to the sticker because the sticker is only printing the exact profile on the sticker, right? So you don't need to leave. You don't need to cut the sticker to the shape of the image because the printer's only printing the image itself.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Boom.
I'll
take this one.
Go.
Okay. Woo! We did it. All right. This is why we love you guys. So you're not like, oh.
If I was any more dexterous, that would have taken way less time.
It's so frustrating. I couldn't do it on the first try. Neither could
Neither
we.
way,
Okay. Yeah. You're in the right crowd. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and I was gonna slap it, but
no,
lightly roll and nice and gentle.
No air bubbles.
Oh.
We gotta put the other stuff out.
They actually
if you like. All right. Now here we go. Oh. Here we go. Okay.
I got another one.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
The trick is to find a corner.
You're going faster than me.
These are actually a couple tools that come with the printer that might help with this situation.
For schmucks like me. That's perfect. There we go.
Boom, boom, boom.
So you want to show everybody the...
Ooh, finished product. There we go.
All right, so you
have the backing, and then you have the plastic backing and the plastic cover on the front.
Yes.
And then this is the finished product. So a nice clean outline, because again, you're printing directly onto the sticky material. So your sticky material is only going to be where you've printed, which is exactly what you want. So do you want to apply another one?
I shall.
I'm an expert now. Now I can do do these quick.
We have dragon now.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh, they brought a weeding tool. Perfect. That does help. That does help.
Yeah, these little things here. They look like they came from the dentist. They're not from the dentist. They're for weeding.
You don't know that.
Yeah.
They could have come from the dentist.
But again, the nice thing is, if you're familiar with using the Cricut, you can't print full color images on the Cricut.
Yeah.
What you can do, actually, that I have done here is you can print onto white vinyl using the eufyMake. So you can print, you can print full color images on the Cricut. What you can do actually that I have done here is you can print onto white vinyl using the eufyMake. What you can do actually that I have done here is you can print onto white vinyl using the eufyMake. So if you wanted to cut something on the Cricut, you could print it onto vinyl here and then put on the Cricut.
The same SVG. Yeah.
But the other thing is on the Cricut, you have to weed away what's called the negative image, right? You have to weed away everything you don't want to keep.
Yeah, so like
But
all
on the
these tiny
printer-
little details in between, again, we already seen
Yeah.
them far away. All these tiny little details in between the dragon scales, you would have to manually go through and pull that vinyl, the uncut vinyl, out of there. But because this is being printed directly onto the sticky material, that saves you all of the time of having to do your very fine.
And
little-
we have sticker number 2.
Oh, it's beautiful. There we go.
Down here.
Oh.
Sticker number 2 on our thing.
Yeah, so this is
And
what it
we're
looks
gonna-
like before. You got your
We're gonna double dragon it up because
Yeah.
we printed a dragon
do,
on
yeah.
this one, and we're gonna just go ahead and just however
Alright.
you feel.
Oh, no,
This one's for you, dude. All right.
Oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? Should they be
Should they
kissing?
keep? Yeah.
Oh, no,
Oh,
no!
no! I didn't think about it.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I'm
alright.
sorry.
That's all right. We'll make them.
Okay.
We'll make them friends. Here, spin a little.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tick-a-tick-a-tick.
Yeah. Get that bad boy down. Well, while I'm doing this, any other questions from chat?
We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna reiterate. You don't really need ventilation. That was the next question on here. You don't really need ventilation. Not super pungent smell. Not anything crazy fume wise. Just like an open door. If you feel like opening a window, crack it open.
Yeah.
But you don't need like a huge ventilation system or anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Any of you with a wood shop, that's very different. Oh. There we go.
Okay, you see,
I got it
you
on the
see?
first try.
Yeah.
What's that? Okay, actually, I'm going to use this to kind of.
While Davis is finishing that up, and you have my image loaded up for my tabletop printing, please.
Oh yeah, for put on our little things. Yeah.
Want to go ahead and get a print started?
There we go. Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh yeah, the trick is definitely go slow, take your time. Don't just slap it on and then rip this off. Like any decal kind of style thing, you want to make sure that you press down, you apply a lot of pressure to make sure that that really sticks to the surface you want, and then slowly peel away your transfer material. And then, if you did it right,
Oh, look at that!
2 dragons.
Got
2
a
dragons
dragon.
for the price of, well, I don't know.
You
2
know
dragons
what?
for the price of 2 dragons.
We're on theme because How to Train Your Dragon is coming out right
True.
On theme, you guys.
Yeah. All right.
Let's
Put that up
see.
there.
What else? What else? Ooh, hey, that's me. That's my name. Ooh. That is a very interesting question, and I don't think so.
What's the
because-
question?
That's a great question. Let me say it out loud. So, Miss Cynthia Montana asked Chelsea, I feel like I'm an advice columnist, Chelsea, can E1 print on shrink wrap, aka stick it in an oven to shrink?
That's a great
Now, I don't think so, because that material is not going to shrink down, and because of the shrinking, it would probably like lose adhesion of the
Well, and
ink
also
printed on top.
the ink is hardened already.
Yeah.
And that's
So
what-
yeah, it wouldn't probably constrict. I do see what you're putting down, but I
I
don't
like that
think
idea. Yeah, it's a good idea.
that it would work.
I will say. I mean, I'd be very curious about the use case, because normally the reason you do like a shrinky dink is you're drawing
dating
things.
yourself on that one.
Yeah. But you're drawing things big because it's easier to draw big, and then when it shrinks, it looks better.
Yeah.
But because this is already printed at such a high
DPI.
DPI, and the resolution is so good, you can just
be able
print
to
the
print
small
something
version
small.
the first time.
Yeah.
You don't need to print something big and then shrink it.
Exactly. And I have on the back here, for those of you who are aviation nerds, we have our SR-71 Blackbird, and very excited about that. And we've got a bunch of really fine lines here. And I don't, what was the DPI that this was printed at? Do you know off the top of your head?
It was just printed. It was printing at the high quality, but
With the exact
DPIs
DPIs, that's fair. But at high quality mode, you still retain a lot of your fine detail here. We have a lot of really fine line work. And obviously the contrast of black to white helps, but it gives you a very good idea of how fine of a print. Actually, are you able to zoom in?
Yeah.
Be able to show
Yeah.
better.
Mhm.
And this is printed on metal too, so this is a really nice, solid,
Ooh, I really
really
like some
cool
metal
wall art.
posters.
Yeah, there we go.
Ooh.
So you can kind of see a lot of those internal structure pieces, a lot of really fine text here. This side, it's backwards. There we go. And ooh, really zoom in. But yeah, a beautiful print of a beautiful plane.
Sorry.
Whoa, we're playing around here.
It's
There we
all
go.
zoomed in that much.
Yeah. So again, another great idea of ways to use this, and this is
And
this is
all
really
of the
cool.
text is perfectly legible.
It's kind of a follow-up question from our previous live stream,
Oh yeah.
where they said there's a possibility that some bigger printing plates might be coming out. Now, I don't have any ETA on that, which is what the question was, but hopefully they are still working on it.
So just to show you,
Oh yeah. Let's give a
Let's
reference
let's
here.
talk about the plates.
this is the current larger printing plate. Here, do you want to hold this for a
Yeah,
second?
absolutely. Because inside currently loaded up, actually. Yeah, we could do kind of a side by side. So we've got the smaller plate inside, and that's the one that allows you to print with doors fully closed. And then if you want a larger, so like for example, like phone cases, things like that will fit. It's about that wide. And then for your big stuff, pretty neat. We have our large bed here, and we can do like a side by side. Here we go. Yeah, so this is the default one. This is the one you can print with the door closed. And then Ben is holding the large one, so you can kind of get an idea of,
And something really cool about the large one is it has this track. So the large plate is actually moving forward and backwards on that track, which was just really fun to see. I always say one of my favorite things about this is I have a lot of digital fabrication tools, but this is the first one that really just looks like a Tony Stark lab. Like,
Very
it
much
really
does,
just feels like
lasers, it's got UV
Yeah,
lights. People
this
really
is the
like it.
future.
Yeah.
Um,
If you're trying to become a mad scientist like me, this is
um,
and this material is textured. Obviously, you guys can't touch it. I can't. But this does have like kind of a sword. It will help your materials not slide around as the bed is moving back and forth. Though we do recommend for some things like this phone case that we did, we tape around the edges just to make sure, because there's not, you do like the high gloss, sheen finish. You can also print that over it, and that too will change the texture a little bit. But this is just kind of the matte, so you can get a good feel for what that looks like.
the other thing about the high gloss is like for a print like that where you can see the ceramic underneath, that's a reason to use a high gloss too. Is if you want to see the underlying color of the material, you can do that high gloss so you have that protective resin surface over the whole thing, but are still able to see the top.
Yeah. Any other question? That was a great question.
So first is the ink that gets on the bed, like how easy is it to remove? If there's ink overlay spray that gets on the
In
bed.
terms of going through what's your cleaning?
So the ink, in my experience, once it's on there, it's probably not coming off because it's UV cured ink. And so the ink that's on the bed is there, but you'll see that we have a lot of ink on the bed and we're still able to just like stick things over it because things don't need a lot of surface area to stick. If you make a big mess of your bed, you'll probably have to replace it. The cool thing is instead of having to replace this whole plastic thing, there's just this little film, this little mat that pops off. And so there's a double-sided mat similar to a Cricut. And so the bundles that you can get, actually we should show the bundles.
Oh yeah.
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 Some pricing.
And while he's pulling that up, I mean, again, we talked about too, you have a camera, so part of kind of keeping that mess to a minimum, obviously if you have masking tape to hold an object down, that will help, but two, using your camera and your object placement to make sure that you are not getting a lot of overspray and you're keeping that to a minimum in order to kind of reduce the wear and tear of your bed here.
Yeah.
But
And
you've got it overlaid.
with these bundles, right, you are getting those extra mats with whichever bundle you choose. So depending on the size you're getting, it comes with different mats, but you can see these are all still available on Kickstarter for now. But they've already done over $30 million in Kickstarter now. But they've already done over $30 million in Kickstarter funding. So there are a lot of people ordering these. There will be a limit eventually, and so get them now. There's a link in the description. But I recommend personally what we have is this the bottom bundle,
The
deluxe.
Yeah.
So we get the small bed, the big bed, and we get the laminator, the rotary tool, extra ink, And it came with like a bunch of fun things to print on. So the tiles that you see, the canvas we printed on, all of that came with that bundle. Whereas you can also, if you're just jumping in, starting out, and you don't know if it's something you want to fully invest in yet, there's this more economical bundle with just the 2 beds and not the rotary attachments or the laminator. And so it really just depends on what you're planning on doing them with the machine, but all of them will come with those extra mats, so that if you do damage one somehow, you can replace them pretty easily.
Yeah, similar to like a 3D printing plate. You know, if you accidentally mess up, it is kind of a consumable item in that sense. But how careful you are in your printing and your removing of objects is what is going to determine the length of the lifespan of your plate to an extent. Sweet. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yes, it's less of a question we can answer, more of a question that I'm just going to voice, and hopefully the people in the Eufy chat will make it happen. We've had several questions or suggestions about please release some completion times of how various projects are printing out. I mean, we don't have like an official list.
Yeah, we can give you some.
So we can give you some.
This was what, 12 minutes?
12 minutes.
Yeah, 12 minutes. So, and for context, this is a. This was not white and then CMYK. This was just CMYK.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So just a single CMYK layer, 12 minutes, foam case, and again, looks really, really nice. And for something like this, it's our dragon.
Over here.
Dragon, this is the full height. So this is a really large print surface. And again, it's printed directly to the wood with a 5mm height difference. And that was over the course of roughly 9 hours. Yeah, roughly 9 hours.
Yeah.
But the dragons, the dragons behind you were about an hour.
Yeah.
And the blackbird as well, about an hour, maybe less. And then the tiles, like that tile right there.
Which again, this is also, you can't really see it. This also has a texture, so this has got a couple millimeters of height. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one I think has also the full 5mm. And that one was an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And so what you'll find is that more than the size of it is really the thickness, because it has to cure each layer before it adds the next layer.
Yeah.
Can I get my Vanna White zoom in, please?
Sure, yeah.
Thank you.
We can.
Thank you so much. We had the camera already set for this, so that I didn't have to like reach across, because we really need to get into these textures.
Yeah.
That's Ben. Hey, Ben.
Hey.
Everybody say hi to Ben.
Hi, Ben. Oh, we're back.
Hey. All right. Boom. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, you can
Boom.
see.
All right.
Right over a distance. But yeah, you can see on the lip right here.
Little ledge. Yeah. There you go.
So.
And now we can really get into that. Dragon.
Because again, unlike a 3D printer, you're not applying kind of a thick layer of. Oh wait, go back.
I was doing the dragon.
I started talking too soon.
Announced the dragon, and then.
It's Ben again.
Ben again, guys.
I'm just a camera.
He's just hanging out.
Yeah.
We're so back. Okay, let's see.
Okay, we got this.
Yeah, here you go. Hold on, I was just gonna point.
Oh,
yeah. Here we go.
There
and you
we
can
go.
see kind of the light
Yeah.
reflecting off, and then as we go, look at that.
Ooh.
Very horizontal.
There we go.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of
So much
here.
texture.
Yeah.
So much texture.
So much texture.
And that one was 9. That's the biggest print I've ever done.
Yeah.
That was 9.5 hours. But most of them, like, I'm now feeling confident. Any of those little ones, 8 to 10 minutes.
With a single layer.
Yeah, with that single layer. But even with like some thickness on it, like the one of Catalina Island in the that 3D effect really does add some time. But just like any 3D printer, it's a set and forget, right? You're hitting go, and then you're walking away. You're coming back to a finished product, and you can fill up a whole bed of these.
Yeah.
And just leave it running overnight and come back to hundreds of dollars of things that you can sell.
Yeah. And again, no spaghetti mess. That's really kind of the nice part of this. But and then let's see kind of what you can put that back. Any other juicy questions?
I mean, the one that I think is really kind of like pertinent is, will the stream be watchable later? To my knowledge,
Great question.
I would imagine so. Our other stream is watchable. So I think once it's done, check in the little live tab of their YouTube section of the thing that you're in. And yeah, you'll be able to watch it back.
Yeah.
Do one more time.
And you can watch this one, and you can watch our old one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
Do we have an Instagram?
Oh no, that question got deleted.
We only
This
have a couple
one,
minutes left, so
I
maybe like 2 or
know.
3 more questions.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the last one we got.
Oh, ink. Yeah.
Yeah. So this one is still kind of an up in the air estimate because it depends on exactly what you're printing and how often. But this person asked how often they'd be required to replace ink for a good amount of use. Now, again, everybody's use is different. I would imagine if you're printing lots and lots of dragons, lots and lots of thick dragons, you're going to be, replenishing much more often. Whereas if you're printing, just flat images, probably, good amount of time you wouldn't need to replace. But as for actual durations, I do not know. Hopefully the people in the eufyMake will
Let me
compile some information because, again, they're still just getting pushed out. So I don't think they have a ton.
We actually do have a little chart. Let me pull it up.
Look at that. He let
chart.
me talk so long to make sure I could be a liar. He couldn't have stopped me at any other moment. Now I'm a liar.
So with the chart, let me just pull up that chart. But the cool thing about the UV printer, one of the smart things about it, is that one is that when you print, you get to choose the colors and the way the colors are happening. Yeah. So if you're printing something thick like that dragon, you don't have to do the whole thing color all the way down.
Yeah,
you can do,
I was gonna say similar to like an infill equation in a 3D printer slicer. Like you can make something 100% solid, or you can make it 10%, infill. For those of you who 3D print, essentially determining the again between just the thickness, but also are you printing ink all the way down, or are you doing kind of a white substrate as you build up, and then your nice inks on the top, and again your gloss veneer on top as well.
Yeah, and you get that so that white ink, so that lets you store up on just one ink color instead of all the ink. So you can get a lot. You're definitely going to want to get more white than anything else if you're doing those 3D textures, because you're going to use more white and then just do that color layer on top.
Yeah.
So I'm just bringing up that.
And also too, if for those of you who are not familiar with CMYK printing, one of the other benefits of having white here is that you can take anything that is a different color, and if you're worried about color bleed through, then you can put a white layer on it. So for example, if we have actually this is a really good example. This is a gray fabric, and we just did a single layer on top of this, and so you get some of the text is going to be have like a bit of a color cast, because again it's very thin and that color of the material behind it is going to bleed through. So if you print white first, then you're creating a nice blank canvas. So in the way that an artist would paint white paint onto their canvas underneath it. So again, just thinking of the different use cases that you might be working with and how you want to structure your print and the materials in the order that they go in. So there is kind of a reason to give you flexibility there.
There you go.
As we're still pulling up our FAQ.
I will say pretty much everything on the table was done. It was done in multiple parts, but I think could be done with one set of ink easily. And so it wasn't done with one set of ink because we printed some of the bigger things in between. But in my experience, everything on the table would be fine to print all together. And most of it was. Pretty much all the canvas and most of the tiles and coasters were all done on one set of ink without changing it.
And the other thing too is if you are, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but again, if you're printing one thing and then you stop and you let the machine sit for a while when it's cleaning out those, the auto clean feature, you're going to be losing some ink in there. In the same way that if you're purging filament in a 3D printer, every time you purge, that filament is lost. So if you're printing a lot of things back to back, you're not having to purge out the system as often. So it's kind of a time saving in that way. But again, machine is designed to do a lot of its own self-maintenance, so you don't have to worry about those clogged lines. But again, just strategically thinking about how you're going to be printing things out so you're not letting the machine sit and that UV would otherwise harden. To clean it out, you would lose that material. But
I will say, on the point of the cleaning, the self-cleaning, it does randomly make a noise if you're not using it. So don't be startled. It's going to be like, when your refrigerator makes ice and goes, blah, blah, blah. It's going to do that. So just get used to that noise, because that startled me the first time.
Yeah.
I will just say.
It's not making ice.
It's not making ice. It's not one of those little cubed ice machines that put on your kitchen counter.
I believe once an hour you'll hear it kind of sounds just like it's like a small suction noise because it's sucking the ink out of those ink heads to keep them
Cycling it back
clean
into the tanks.
and cycling it. And so you just get that slight sucking noise about once an hour, just for like a minute. And then again, if you don't use it for a day or two, it will do the full purge, and that takes some more time. Something to keep in mind also is because of that self-cleaning feature, you want to keep it plugged in at all times. So unlike some other tools where you might plug it in, use it, then unplug it, put it back on the shelf, you do want to keep this one plugged in all the time, because anybody who's used any UV printer can tell you that UV ink, UV resin is a tough material, and so it will do its best to clog. And so they've put a lot of science into making sure that doesn't happen, but they can only do their work if they have power. If it's just sitting in the closet,
help your machine help you, if you will.
If you need to put it away though, you can manually run that full clean cycle, and then it'll be ready for deep storage. So if you're going away for the weekend, if you're not going to use it, if you're in between orders, you could run that full clean, and then it will be safe to put away for as long as you need to.
Yeah.
Alright.
I mean, think about it like, a thing of glue. If you're going to use glue, you put the lid back on, it doesn't dry out, problem solved. But yeah, just kind of thinking of those, maintenance intervals. But yeah.
And I have our last question.
Our last question.
Our last question, you guys. All right. So it says, I think it is. It says, when it self-cleans, does the printer let you know when the waste needs to be emptied?
Yes. So
yes.
On the side over here, you can see my magic hands over here. Hello.
Ben's
Beautiful
hands.
now
On the side here, we actually have a compartment, and in this compartment is a cleaning cartridge. And so that cleaning cartridge, when you receive your printer, when they start to ship, you'll receive your ink cartridges, but you'll also receive the self-cleaning cartridge as part of the ink bundle. And that just slots in the side. And it has the cleaning liquid in there, or I don't know, there's some sort of magic going on in there. Not magic. It's incredible science that they figured it out. I don't want to belittle it. They figured out some sort of mixture of, it has, I think, a container to take all the dirty ink and to keep it there. And then it also has, I think, a cleaning liquid in there. And so there's a cool demonstration of it in that Kickstarter video you can see. But this cartridge needs to be replaced every once in a while. Again, we've had our printer for a little over 2 months now. We've been using it pretty regularly. We replaced it once so far, but that's because we've been going pretty heavy on the print. So if you're running an Etsy store, if you're doing this all the time, and you're doing hundreds of prints every week, you'll probably want to get a couple of these. It also depends also on how often you go in between, because if you are using it regularly, actually it cleans less when you use it regularly.
Because you're naturally
because it's naturally cleaning. And that every hour clean process really doesn't take a lot. But if you are unplugging, a big problem for us was we were unplugging and plugging it in a lot to move it back and forth between the Makerspace and my house before. But if you're just leaving it on your desk, you're having it open, you shouldn't have to move it. You shouldn't have to change it.
And again, with machines like this, it's always a balance of, being able to have ease of use and really high quality finished products. And there's also going to be some maintenance associated with it. In the same way that if you're going to use, a sketch pad with a pen and paper, not a lot of maintenance that goes into that, but the level of product and the level of finished product you're able to get out of this does require a little bit more maintenance. So kind of, basically coming up with your list of pros and cons for the things that you want to build, and, kind of weighing those, different maintenance options, and, how high of a quality of finished product you want for the level of maintenance you have to put into it. But I think that was our last question now.
It was our last question.
Yeah.
I think we are ready for our sign-offs. Davis,
Before we sign up, just a reminder to check out the Kickstarter. There's a link in the bio or in the description, depending on if you're on Instagram or YouTube. But there's, I think, about a month left, maybe less, on the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And so I recommend checking that out, getting your printer before they're all
bundles
gone.
As well.
And your bundles. Look through the different bundles. If you want to come check it out in person, come to Social Media Makerspace in Los Angeles. And we're happy to show you ours and give you a test run.
Yeah, you can let your little paws play with all the little fun things.
And then also there's amazing YouTubers and content creators out there. Eufy has partnered with a lot of different content creators. sent them printers and just asked them to give honest reviews. So go through YouTube. You can go down the whole rabbit hole and see dozens of content creators who have everything from full tutorials to reviews to niche cases. And they're all a great way to see kind of what real makers are doing with these every day. And it's very cool.
Perfect. And on that note, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Chelsea, can you give us a final
yeah,
recap?
I'm Chelsea. We just did a little,